I just wanted to show y'all I am ready.
What's happening?
I'm headed to Berlin for the KDK, Karneval der Kulturen. Diese Diskussion werden wir nachher weiterführen.
Wo bist du in Deutschland oder Uganda?
Wo ich wohne?
Ja, wo du öfters bist.
In Deutschland.
Bist du nicht?
Uganda pig. Yeah, that's my Uganda superstar.
Everyone is looking good.
We outside, baby.
If I tell you about today, this girl, what did you book? You know, Germans are very punctual, so I try to.
That's not with Ugandans. I've recorded, so this week, actually today, this is the second recording I'm doing, but
Yeah.
like, all of them at least, and I've got pissed at some point. Like one guy was telling me 30 minutes. No, he told me 10 minutes, and then it took like an hour.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I was like, let's reschedule. But then I was
Yeah.
like, he told me, man, he told me he couldn't get into the recording, so that's why.
Well, to be fair, internet sometimes in Uganda is unpredictable.
Yeah.
I've had those issues too, because when I go, you know, I also tutor while I'm studying at uni. So sometimes when my trip is longer in Uganda, I tutor online my kids.
Okay.
And sometimes the internet just refuses. It's like I can't get into the Zoom. I'm like, but I can do everything else. Like I can see my emails. Why can I not do it? Like it's so weird. So
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
I'm glad we didn't do this recording in Uganda because I mean, I've done a lot of recordings from Uganda. I wouldn't say like it wouldn't have worked. I'm sure it would have worked, but sometimes it's not reliable, you know.
Yeah,
so
it can get tricky.
Mujevale. My name is Bani Kibuka, and welcome to another episode of the Ugandan Boy Talk Show. So how have you been? I meant to ask you how you've been, how you're doing.
I'm good. How have you been? How are you?
I've been good too. Can't complain. The last time I talked to you, I think it was over a year ago. I was still in my...
Really, already?
I think so. No, was it? Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's the recording we did before even Eddie he was nominated for the
Grammy.
Grammys. So we recorded and you were in school, and then I had to wait to release it because you were in school doing exams.
Yeah.
So it's been...
That time is coming up again. Yep.
Yeah.
You're right.
I think it's
Wow.
been a year because I was going to say I've now recorded with you in this new room because I switched to a different room.
I can see
so, yeah.
Uganda.
Arsenal, and another jersey up there.
I can see Arsenal too.
Yeah.
I call it the headache team. I don't know how you guys do.
Oliver Money, or you don't follow soccer?
It's funny because people around me, my boyfriend tells me I should be embarrassed, but honestly, I support Chelsea.
Okay.
But I started. I'm very funny when it comes to football. I'm a fan, but I'm not so staunch.
Yeah.
I'm the type that watches usually when it's like World Cup or the European Cup. You know, that's when I usually tune in. And because then Chelsea had a lot of German players, so naturally I just gravitated towards Chelsea. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
Maybe,
Chelsea. We'll see.
because now they've left. My German players that were there, I think there's one German player left, but Rudiger left. They all left.
Yeah. I used not to care about Chelsea. Actually, most of my cousins are Chelsea fans, so they gave me like a Chelsea jersey. I didn't really care for it, but like yeah, this season they've been really terrible. But yeah, us we're into like Hakim. He messaged me all the time when Manchester
I
United
know
is.
you guys have the
It's
real
like
rivalry.
not even Hakim, not only Hakim, like all the guys from Uganda. Like we're into this. It's like we like know these players. People used to say that a lot
Yeah.
when we're in Uganda. Tibaba manyina
Do you
bamanya
even
like
know?
you.
It's so true. Whenever they're playing, like you see everyone's WhatsApp status, so many
Right.
memes that it's
Yeah.
just a whole
Yeah,
lot going.
when one team is beaten, then Twitter goes crazy, WhatsApp
Yeah.
goes crazy, Facebook. One of
But I
those
love it.
people.
It's entertaining. I
Yeah.
also love tweeting while I'm watching football because
Yeah.
I don't know, it just makes, I don't know, it's fun.
It's fine. I'm the guy who talks while the game is going on. Like I'll post, especially like if Manchester United is losing, then I'll start
You have to.
I'll start taunting all those Manchester United fans. But
Oh gosh.
yeah, the season is over. Man City won everything. I hate it. I
Yeah.
hate them because they're good. I hate Man City. So
Oh, you don't like Man City.
I don't.
What do you
It's not
mean?
like the only reason I don't like them is because they're good. I'm that kind of person
Mhm.
who hates
So
them
you're a
because
hater.
they're good.
Just
Yeah, I'm just a hater because they're too good. Like nobody. You can't
you're
be that
just a
good.
hater.
Just leave some space for other teams to beat you. But if you can beat
Yeah.
everybody, it's not fun.
Oh, but they played so well. I watched a couple of games now when I was in Uganda,
Yeah.
and they really, wow, they played well.
So, um,
Yes.
I brought you back on the podcast for a second time, and so I had first I had a topic that I wanted to do with you, but then I ended up doing it earlier than expected because you were in Uganda. But then I found another one that I wanted to
Mm,
do with you just to kind of react to opinions and. But before we go into that, I'm going to push it back a little bit if we get to
mm-hmm.
it because this morning I woke up and you do your vlogs, so I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, let's watch Melby's today, and it was exciting. So I just wanted to first catch up with your life and all that before we go
Yeah.
into the topic that I wanted to cover today. If time catches us, I'll still move it for another time. It's not going to
Yeah.
go anywhere. But yeah, so I tuned in today for the German vlog and the old
Yes.
school. It was funny. The best 16 minutes of my life. Just woke up this morning, just tune in. I'm like, I'm gonna talk to her about it because there's some things that
I
I
appreciate you watching.
found that were interesting. First of
Mm,
all, that R&B thing brunch that you guys went to, it was
yeah.
dope because I can't find any place where to go listen to that kind of music now.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw
It's
you like singing, and everybody was excited. How was that
yeah.
experience like? And for the
Oh,
listeners who have not watched it, you need to go watch it. We're gonna talk about it, but you'll
yes,
get a
please.
better feeling if you actually watch it.
Yes, please. But oh, it was amazing. Me, obviously, I also do music, but my passion, like the music I genre that I love the most, is that late 90s, early 2000s R&B. That's right up my alley. So for me, it was like this event was made for me. I was really having such a good time. But originally, the people that do that particular old school brunch, they're from the UK. So they did a little tour in
Mm,
Germany. They came last year. I missed it because they only did one city and I couldn't make it. But this year they came to like different cities and they also came to Frankfurt. So I had already bought my ticket very early on. I was like, I have to
yeah.
be there. But I wanted to mention actually in Uganda, there's one that's called Reminisce.
Okay.
They do it I want to say every 3 to 6 months, maybe.
Mm,
It's called the Reminisce, and it's like the same vibe, like it's old school music. And I saw the one that's coming up. They're going to do it at Kati Kati, so a bit of a bigger venue. But yeah, it was so much fun. Just being in Germany and growing up around a lot of Germans and white people. It's events like those that kind of bring us all together, and like
mm-hmm.
a lot of black people that came from like K-Town and like all these places where there's like American bases, like the Americans that are in the army, because
Yeah.
they kind of live in their bases. So they also came to the event. So it was so much fun. Just I saw so many beautiful human
Yeah.
beings.
That looked so fun because I think you only showed us like maybe a few songs that you guys were singing
Yeah,
to.
because I was shouting and singing my lungs out.
Did you, actually, I meant to ask you, like, did you have to mute yourself on when you're doing that vlog, like, for the,
Not all of it, because when I first came in, I did like an area shot. So
yeah.
I was recording because we hadn't found like a spot where we were gonna be yet. So I was just walking in. I was so overwhelmed because first of all, it was so packed.
Yeah.
It was so many people, and like, so I just did like an area shot, and then the videos that are inside were my friends like snapping,
Yeah.
or like me doing a Snapchat of myself. So I included those because vlogging was not on my mind at that point
Okay.
because I was having too much fun, too much
Um,
fun.
but the other thing too, like part of the songs they had there, they had Burna Boy. I was like, how did Burna Boy come into the late 90s?
Yeah, so the organizers originally some were from Nigeria. So they also, you know how Nigerians are, they always put their people on any
Exactly.
chance that
Yeah.
they get supporting each other. So they throw some Afrobeat in there. They even said, yeah, any Africans in the building. So they did that. And they also played gospel music. They had
Wow.
like two gospel songs, I think, because the organizers are Christians. So yeah, but it was so much fun, honestly. It was so much fun.
Is that an event that they have only once, like a weekend, or was it just like a one-time event?
Yeah, well, I think they started off doing it once a year. Now this German tour, they're still going to different cities, but I think it's going to be something that's going to happen more often because the turnout was so great in each city. I've heard, like, I have friends in different cities in Germany who went to the other events, and they also had positive feedback. So I'm pretty sure because the demand is high, they're
Yeah.
probably going to do it more.
I feel like everybody loves those late R&B. I would definitely pay to go for that because like the
Yeah,
music then it hits different. You know, like you listen to
different.
those songs even today, and like those hit you different, different.
It's still, and I feel like now I even feel the music even more. I'm even wondering, how was I singing these songs on the top of my lungs at such a young age? I didn't even understand. I'm now understanding the meaning of these songs,
Yeah,
like the lyrics,
I know.
because I was so young.
Me too.
I mean, because I was born in 97. So by then, late night, I mean, I was a toddler, literally a young
Right.
child in kindergarten, but I was singing these songs with so much passion. And it's now that I'm looking at the lyrics and singing, and I'm like, oh, wow. So this song is actually about this, and that song is actually, I'm like, wow, interesting.
That is crazy because I've also just realized that. And
Yeah.
like when I was in Uganda, I would learn these songs, sing these songs, but you don't even know the meaning of it. Like even if when they're cursing, you don't know they're
You
cursing.
know?
So like, especially and also like these songs, the Jamaican songs, I loved a lot of those.
Yes,
I wouldn't pick up on the words. I just like the beat and their groove and like.
exactly.
But
You
now I'll
don't.
be in my car driving. I play that song. I'm like, oh
Oh.
my God, how did I listen to this song back in the day?
Yeah,
You know,
and
like,
Jamaicans, their lyrics is always that's what they sing about.
but
But you know what's funny? Even in Uganda, most of the songs I used to sing, and now because you know how I don't know, Luganda is such I love Luganda. There's one thing of just understanding the language that we speak, but then so many words that they use have double meanings. And if you hang out with the crowd, like if you're street smart, you know what those words mean.
right.
So most of these songs that we're singing are actually about completely other things,
Yeah.
even though the words we're singing might not sound like they need to be X-rated or anything, but the actual meaning of the song, oh,
Yeah,
wow.
there was a lot of those songs like where they would sing a different word but they mean
They
something
mean
different.
something.
And it takes you like a different kind of understanding for you to know the interpretation of that song. So
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. But yeah, that looked packed and looked like you guys were having a lot of fun. And you also went to a carnival too after that.
Yes. Yeah, so every year in Berlin is the capital city of Germany, so they usually have a carnival. They call it Carnival of the Cultures. which in German is KDK, Karneval der Kulturen. And it's literally like how like a carnival, they have like different rides that go through like thousands and thousands of people, and it's each country usually is represented by one of them, and then they decorate it in their country colors, and they play their music, and then the people follow the whatever train that you like. You just follow it and you vibe on the
Yeah.
streets. I checked my Apple Watch, and I think we walked about 20,000 or plus steps
Oh,
that
wow.
day. So it was a lot of walking around, but it was so nice as well. Just so many different cultures coming together. There was, Caribbean trains, African trains. There was just so many Asians, and then there's stands of food everywhere as well, of people cooking their national dishes. And yeah, again, it was very, very much fun. I got to meet friends that I hadn't seen in years as well. So that's always a good thing too. But just seeing like so many people of different walks of life and different cultures coming together and embracing each other's cultures is fun, especially in a country like Germany, where your day-to-day life, you don't really get that feeling.
Right.
So moments like that, and the sun is out, summer is now here, so it was so much fun as well.
Yeah, I saw that all over your social media. Summer is here, and it's always exciting.
Yes.
I love the sun. I love the sun.
Yeah.
Winter makes me miserable and makes me angry.
Talk
Hate
about it.
life. But when you see the sun comes out,
You're
then you
happy.
smile. You're
Everyone is
happy.
happy.
Yeah, that's what I like. Now in
Yeah.
Germany, like especially like where you live, do you guys have like um African places where you meet other Africans, African events, or do you have to go a distance to get these, like to meet other, connect with other people from Africa?
Yeah. I would say, yeah, it's very rare for us to have such. In the summers, usually there's small like town fests where Africans come together, but it really rarely happens, if I'm being honest. And even if it's especially like Ugandan events, because Ugandans in Germany are scattered all over, and Germany's quite a big country, so like usually they have it in places like Munich, but then for me, Frankfurt, to go to Munich is like 4 or 5 hour drive. So you feel like, okay, is it really, worth it? Do I have enough time to make it to go there? And then I have to think of accommodation and, so yeah, I do miss out on a lot when it comes to those things. But in the summertime, I would say there's much more opportunities of getting to places where you can, meet up and mingle with fellow Africans.
I think that's the same with me here, like living in Michigan. Like most of the Ugandans are in Boston, most of the
Boston,
Ugandans
yeah.
in
Yeah.
California. Other Ugandans, I don't know. Maybe there's a lot in New York, but I don't know. I know Boston and California for sure.
Yeah.
Those ones have a lot of Ugandans. And so I lived in Michigan, and it took me a long time to meet Ugandans. Actually, it was just yesterday.
Mm.
There was a couple on Instagram that were cooking Ugandan food. So I reached out to them, and I was like, because somewhere they say they're from no, the husband is Ugandan, and he was wearing like
Yeah.
a University of Michigan sweatshirt. So I
Oh, so
messaged
you saw.
his wife. I'm like, hey, I want to connect with your husband. He's from Uganda. So I connected with the guy. I never message people on Instagram like that, especially
Yeah.
strangers. But I was like, oh, this guy might be from Michigan. So when I connected with him, he told me there's a whole like Ugandan in Michigan group.
Oh,
They have like
really?
a
That's
WhatsApp
so
group. They've
cool.
been like meeting. They have like a Instagram page too, and
Oh,
like
I love
they have a
that.
soccer team. And I work in the town where they meet. Like it's like my workplace. It's like,
Imagine.
so I didn't know about that for all the 6 years I've lived here. So I just
That's
found about them.
crazy.
So it's always cool. So actually, I'm kind of contro- controversy about. So this was my mindset when I moved to the US. It's like sometimes when you go around comfortable places where you know a lot of people,
Yeah.
kind of makes you lazy. And that's how that
Yeah.
was just my take. Like if I go to a state where there's a lot of Ugandans, there's a lot of people, I'll be comfortable and just depend on people. But like if
Mm-hmm.
I send myself out there just on my own, then
Mm.
I kind of will force me to work hard. It's just like
Yeah.
you're out there. But I mean, even that, So like here now that I'm settled and everything, it's always nice to connect with other people
Yeah.
like you
I
don't.
think as well in the beginning it gets like that, but after a while you kind of need that balance,
Exactly.
especially in the winter. Like it's so easy to when you're in environments like that, because even here in Germany, people are very much tunnel vision. No one really, everyone does their own thing.
Hmm.
So it's very easy to fall into, depression or other mental health
Yeah.
issues. So yeah, it's nice to have, that sense of balance that okay, maybe from Monday to Friday I do that, or maybe once a month,
Hmm.
I can meet up with fellow Africans or Ugandans, whatever the case may be. I think that it's healthy to find like a good balance in both.
It's good too. They have the food. Like every time they
Yeah.
they meet, they make like Ugandan food. They make chapati.
Uh,
So it's always nice to just have that in you. Like especially the food you
yeah,
can't make yourself. Like there's a lot of Ugandan food that might not be able to make. But when you go
yeah.
out to these events, then you find
You find
food. You
it there.
connect with other people
Oh,
too. That's always exciting. So
definitely.
so the other thing, back to the vlog, because I liked
Yeah.
that vlog a lot, and I want people to, I don't know, I'm weird sometimes. Like sometimes I pick on things that interest me, and I ask
Mm-hmm.
myself, do other people think these things are interesting like that? Like
Yeah.
you know?
It's funny you say that because for me now, from my point of view as a vlogger, sometimes it's hard for me to decide what people want to see.
Hmm.
I usually do the Ugandan vlogs because obviously I can see when people tune in, and I usually get most of the traffic on those vlogs. But then sometimes every now and again I get a comment, oh, why don't you ever vlog when you're in Germany? Naturally, I just felt like because I know how my lifestyle is here, I didn't think it was anything interesting to see.
Hmm.
But then some people are maybe in Uganda or other parts in the world who are thinking to move to Germany and they want to see
Hmm.
exactly that. So honestly, whoever is, also maybe in the vlogging scene, just do it,
Yeah.
just do it and see. You never know. Sometimes you can inspire someone to move, or, some people watch the vlog and they're like, I didn't know you speak that German that well. I'm like, well, it's kind of my first language. You
That's
know?
what I thought, especially the part where you had the captions for us and hearing you speak. I'm like, holy cow, it's Ugandan. Like she speaks like you might if like you we weren't seeing your face, so like
Yeah.
especially when you're talking, it's like you could mistake like you could, and if the camera like switched to you, it's like no, she's not the one who's been talking. Somebody else
Must
like
be someone else.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's cool. But no, to go back to that is like it's the same thing with the podcast. So like sometimes
Yeah.
there's different types of podcasts. Like people do different. They talk about different things. So that's the
Yeah.
part where I was like, I don't know what if people will get interested in what I podcast I do. But then
Mm.
again, when I was starting the podcast, I wanted to do something I love. You know, I didn't want
Yes.
to do. I mean, I care about what people like, but
Mm-hmm.
I also care about
What you
what I
like and what
like
you're
because
passionate
what I like is gonna push me to do it more because I like it.
Yeah,
But because if I do it for the people, like even if people tune in and watch everything, but I don't like it, I'm not gonna be able to
you won't
give
get the
them the
motivation to.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like I mean, we gotta meet each other somewhere. Like I love it, so we gotta balance the
Yeah.
boat here. So, so yeah, that's what I was saying. Like I don't know if like for me when I watch something that interests me, I ask myself, do other people think that way?
Yeah.
Because so in that vlog, you were
Mm-hmm.
traveling from Frankfurt to Berlin,
Yes.
so you flew.
I
How long
flew.
was the flight?
The flight was less than an hour, I think.
Okay, you
It
you.
was a very short flight. I call these flights childish. Whenever a
I know.
flight is
That's
like,
what I was gonna ask you. Why did you call it? I had that. I'm like, I don't quite understand. Like, why did you call it a childish flight?
I call them childish because they're so short. Do you know what it feels like to enter a plane? You put your suitcase up there, you find your spot, you sit, and it feels like a blink of an eye you're there. Like it just is so, because my way from home to the airport is actually longer than the flight itself. Like for me to leave my house, reach the airport, check in, everything takes longer than
Yeah,
the time I'm actually sitting on the plane.
yeah.
So to me it's just childish because it feels so surreal because I was used to also like flying to London a lot, and even the flight to London is a bit longer than an hour, so it's so short.
Yeah.
Even this flight, I couldn't even watch a full episode of the series I had downloaded because by the time I turned it on, the they were already saying, "Put on your seatbelts," but we're about to land. I'm like, wow.
Have you ever landed in Kigali when you're going to Uganda?
Yes, I've done the stop where we stay in the airplane and then people join. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the same. That's the same way. Like you landed in
Exactly. It's
Kigali,
very
and
short.
in just a second you're in Entebbe. I'm like, what just happened?
Exactly. So that's how long those flights are, and it's crazy. But what shocked me more, the reason why I chose to fly is because it was cheaper than going by train.
Okay.
The
Wow.
difference like 60 euros or something. And I was surprised because right now in Germany they were trying to figure out to get more people to use the train. Like we even have like a cheaper train ticket that's now you can get it like every month, like a subscription ticket kind of. So they're trying to motivate more people to take the train, but then it's like if I can catch a flight and it's cheaper and it's much quicker,
Yeah.
and it's reliable because the trains here sometimes are not on time. um, yeah, so that was so weird to me. But yeah, that's the reason why I decided to
You talked
hop on a
about
challenge
something
flight.
about the was it TSA, the check-in that they changed something? What was that?
Yes. Well, in Frankfurt, they're trying out new technology. And this new technology, you don't have to take off any electronics. You know how you have to remove your laptop or your iPad or phone out of the bag and put it on the tray. So now you don't have to do that. Even the liquids that you're allowed to carry, remember before you had to put it in like a see-through something and put it out. So they literally, you just put your bag, everything on the thing. I still had my Apple Watch on, like everything that was on my body, I could keep it on, and then just went through.
Yeah.
So yeah, they told me that they are just, testing it out at the moment, but it looks like in the very near future, that's going to be how they're going to conduct the security checks in Frankfurt.
That would save a lot of time. I hate that's the worst part for me
No,
at the airport. Like take off your
especially
shoes,
if
take off
someone
your
is in
belt.
front of you that's
Yeah.
not prepared. Because me, I take a lot of flights. So
Yeah.
I usually, even then, I had liquids already in the handbag. I didn't even put them in the suitcase. So the suitcase, I know I can leave it closed, just it goes through my hand luggage. But everything that I knew I had to take out, it was in my handbag. So I could quickly just put it on the tray and go through. But yeah, sometimes you can have people in front of you who are not that prepared, and it's like they have to unzip their whole suitcase and then first take out this and you're just like, I didn't calculate this. I need to catch my flight, or maybe you're in transit
Yeah.
and you have to. So I think in the sense of that, it's going to really save a lot of time and stress.
Yeah, I like that because I work for an organization that got us like TSA pre-check, which I
Oh,
like I just walk
nice.
through. I used to use that, and I can use it on my like personal flights too. Like I can just go through.
Nice.
But if I'm flying with somebody who doesn't have it, then
Oh, you have to
I'll
go with them.
I have to go with them. So then I don't use it. But one time somebody forgot, the person who booked my flight forgot to put it on my ticket. And
Oh,
even I have it, I have the number, the ID number for it, but because it wasn't on my ticket, they wouldn't let me use TSA pre-check. And
so
that was the airport in Colorado. I hate that place. Like there's a lot of people. You feel like you're gonna miss your flight, and it's always.
yeah,
I love airports, but I want to be there in time and just. I don't like the process of getting to your gate.
yeah.
That's not
You
fun.
like it to be a smooth.
Yeah, I like it to be like a smooth flight, a smooth process, everything. So you fly to Berlin and you meet up with some of your friends.
Yeah.
I watch all that part. We're not gonna go into details. But one part I picked up was the guy asked you, "Do you live in Germany or you live in Uganda?"
The story of my life, honestly.
Yeah.
It's so funny to me because like so many people, just yesterday, funny enough, I got a message from a friend. She was like, "Are you in Uganda or are you in Germany?" And I was like, "I'm in Germany." Oh, I wish I knew because she came to Frankfurt. So she's like, I wish I knew. I thought you're in Uganda, you know.
Mm.
I was like, no, I'm actually here. So, yeah, honestly, even my friends have a hard time keeping up with where my whereabouts, where I am. To me, it doesn't seem like it's that much, but clearly my surroundings.
Yeah, we like I've watched you traveled. Like I don't know, in the last 3 months, I think you've traveled a lot. You were in London at some point, and then you were in Uganda. Even like within your country where you are, like you're always
Yeah,
traveling, you're always on the move, you're always going somewhere. Um, but we gotta talk about that Uber. That
yeah.
that that blew my mind. Like, how did that happen? And was that on purpose? And what was just going on? Because that was a crazy Uber. Was super
It
nice.
was
Was it a
everything.
limousine or it was just?
That day was so crazy. So basically, anyways, people will probably watch the vlog to get the
Mhm.
full story time. But we had a long day and we ended up at the wrong location and then we got to the right location, but it was so late. So by that time, getting into the club and everything, it just seemed like it was so long. So I was ready to go home because at this point it's like 4 in the morning. And then my friend orders a ride because we're both not from Berlin. So we were literally just following people. But then at that point, when we decided to go home, she opted to order. Now, what makes it more funny for me personally is because my friend, we love her, but she's known to being she saves her money a lot.
Mhm.
I don't want to call her stingy, but she's very calculative when it comes to her coin. So that's why I couldn't hold in my laugh because to me that was even more funny because at that moment when that car, first of all, you know how you order an Uber and you look at the
Where they are.
no, not even the location but the number plate.
Mhm.
So I looked on her phone, the number plate, and I saw that big van. So when I saw it, I was like, okay, I already cross-checked the number plate. That's the one. But she was like, there's no way that that's the one. That's not what I ordered. I'm like, well, but that's the number plate. So let's just go inside. When the guy opened that door, I just felt like this is what I deserve after this long day. I don't care if it's like this is what I deserve.
Yeah.
Maybe God just did this for me because I need something happy,
Yeah.
right? That makes me happy right now. So I was very quick to already enter. I'm talking to the guy. She's on her phone, like checking. She's like, I don't think this is ours. And he's like, no, this is, she's like, no, 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 I don't think so. In her head, she's worried about the money she has to
Mhm.
pay for it.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm like, after the day we had, I don't mind. I really don't care. I just want to get home. And if I can get home in style like that,
Yeah.
yes.
That was
But yeah,
funny.
the rider then explained that it's one of a kind in Berlin, actually, the ride that he has. And it's like a luxury ride. So usually the celebrities are the ones that privately book it. Um, and yeah, but it was very fancy. I could get used to that
Did she
treatment.
get charged like a lot of money for it, or was it like that? Well,
She
that's
ended
what I
up
was
getting
getting.
yeah,
Getting what?
she ended up getting charged the normal Uber fee.
Oh.
Yeah, she didn't have to pay extra because when in the car, he then told us because he had the screen, the TV, and he could put it down and then talk to us.
Mhm.
And then he told us that usually that ride goes for like I think 100 euros each. Was it half an hour or something like that? So she was like, "What?" But yeah, in the end, she ended up just paying the normal little Uber fee. So yeah, we were lucky
Yeah.
that day. Like it just happened. He even said he's like, I usually don't because I usually do these private rides and stuff, but I was just in the area, so I thought maybe. And then, he accepted. And we went with him. I was like,
That was awesome. I saw that and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I wish I was there." I didn't want to pay the money that cost that thing because I was like,
"Oh."
"Bro, that would break my bank." It's
I
like,
know. But it ended up being very cheap. Like it
yeah,
was a normal Uber ride.
yeah.
So we were just lucky that day, I
That's
guess.
that's
Well,
yeah.
the end of that day.
But also, like the other part is like you kind of talked about it a little bit. How you guys got lost because you explained it, and like people, I'm sorry for the people who have not watched this vlog, but I'm gonna pull the link in here so when you listen to something that's confusing, you just go watch it. It's
Check it
only
out. Yeah.
actually they should first watch it and then they
And
will.
then get back to
Yeah,
the
because they'll get the whole context of what it's only 16 minutes and it shouldn't be that
yeah.
long. But like how you guys got lost, like you missed you took the wrong train.
But yeah, it was because, like I explained, me and her, we're not from Berlin. So for us, and I'm quite organized. So usually when I go somewhere, I already know. Like even in Uganda, I drive myself. I know where I'm going. I'm usually in charge of organization things.
Mhm.
But there, I couldn't be because I didn't know where we were. It's not my city. I don't know my way around. So we were following the girls who they used to live in Berlin. So we trusted them blindly because we thought, I mean, you guys lived here. I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
We did not expect to get lost at all. And at that point, it was, at nighttime. So we first got into a night bus. And night buses don't stop at every bus stop. They only stop if you press the button.
Mm.
So we get into the night bus and then it goes in that direction. And the girls are looking at each other, the ones who formerly lived in Berlin. And they're like, so I'm like, guys, please tell us we're in the wrong bus, right? They're like, yes. I'm like, oh gosh. So then they're like, oh, but the other bus, there's another stop where they collide where we could catch the other bus because we literally saw the other bus at the station
Mhm.
going. So I'm like, okay, let's just get out at that stop. So we miss the stop where we could have connected to the other bus because it's a night bus and no one pressed the button.
Right.
And I didn't know what that stop was. I just told them, okay, when we get there, let's make sure to get out.
Yeah.
So when we get out, at some point, we're like, okay, let's just get out. Let's get an Uber. So we get an Uber to a location and we're talking to our friend Brian, who was in the vlog earlier, who said, do you live in Germany or Uganda? And he's like, guys, I'm holding my hand up like I can't see you guys. We're like, no, we can't see you. Like, raise your hand or do something so we can see you. But then he couldn't get out of the line wherever he was. So we're like, we can't see you. And then there was police at that venue and they're like, oh, guys, we're sorry. This venue is overcrowded. They're going to shut down the party. No one else is allowed to enter. So we're like, this is so unfortunate. So we tell Brian, we're like, Brian, the police just told us they're going to shut down the place anyways. He's like, there's no police here. I'm like, Brian, please tell me, what is the place called that you're at? He tells me the place and it's a completely different place. I'm like, this is unbelievable. So I tell the girls. So the girls thought we wanted to go to a different place
Yeah.
when we had opted to go to a different place. It was very long. So yeah, that's how we ended up just being lost in Berlin. Like,
That's a story to tell. I mean, it's bad, but I like stuff like that. I like when something like that happens, especially if I'm like I went to hang out with my friends.
yeah,
I usually go to North Carolina a lot, and like in the summer, we would meet up in Florida with my buddies because that's when all these soccer teams come to play in the
yeah,
US. So like last year, we went to Orlando, Florida. We were there, and we're just going around downtown because there's a lot of parties in downtown. People all
yeah.
over the country and just people celebrating. But yeah, when stuff like that like happens, I enjoy the moment. I just laugh. I know, like
You have to just laugh because what else can you do? And the funny, because I don't drink. I don't drink, so I'm always the sober
I
person.
actually meant to ask you that because I remember you mentioned that in the vlog. Like,
I don't drink alcohol. People don't know because I love going out
yeah.
and I can go out a lot, like up until
What's
the
your
morning.
reason of not drinking?
I just don't like the taste of it. I
Yeah.
don't like the taste of it. And then I also don't like the idea of not being in full control and present, like knowing what's happening.
Right.
I don't know if I don't want to say I'm a control freak, but I just like knowing exactly what's going on. And I have
Hmm.
a lot of friends and family members who drink excessively.
Yeah.
So I've always been around that. And sometimes, they wake up in the morning and they're like, I don't remember saying that. I'm like, well, you sure did. You sure did do
Yeah.
that and say that. So yeah, I'm always, everyone knows Melissa's always the designated driver, the sober cat. So I just have to laugh because everyone else right now, their brain is a bit slower than it
Hmm.
would usually be. So I have to be in charge, but at the same time, I'm not from Berlin. I don't know
Yeah.
my way around.
Were those two girls drinking, the ones who were directing you?
Yeah, so the others were drinking. I was sober. So yeah, that was just I just laughed. I was
Yeah.
just like, oh gosh, this is gonna be a long night, and it was.
That's always fun. One of my cousins. So there was a year we were supposed to go to Orlando. Arsenal was coming to
Yeah.
play in the States, and it was the
Oh
COVID year.
wow.
So Arsenal ended up canceling a day before. Like
Oh,
we're really like they were like, oh, the players got COVID. They're not gonna travel to the United States. We already have
mm.
our tickets. We've paid for Airbnb. We've paid for everything. So me and my
Oh,
cousin were like, what should we do? Should we go or should we? It's like it
leave
was
it.
gonna be more expensive to cancel our like trip than to go. So
Mm-hmm.
we went and just the two of us. We watched another game because another team from England made it here. They came and played. So we bought those tickets. They were cheap, more like
Mm.
$10. So we went for that game and we just hang out with a lot of friends. And so my cousin, it was my birthday. And we went to this place. There's a bar place, and the guy found out, oh, it's his birthday, and they gave us some drinks, which I don't remember what they were. But
Mm.
but we're just the two of us, and we're the ones supposed to drive ourselves back. So my cousin drove. I slept. I slept, but somebody was tracking us because they knew that we were there. They wanted to make sure we were safe. And then we told them, oh, we're going to that hotel. They have a track to the hotel, and they're watching us, and they saw us taking a wrong exit and just
Oh
going.
God.
So we
Oh
just went the
God.
wrong exit, but we ended up at the hotel. And the next morning, I had to fly out at 6 a.m. and he had to take
Oh
me to the airport.
goodness.
So,
That's another mistake I'm not gonna do because even leaving Berlin, my flight was at 6, I think, something. And I'm like, why did I even do this to
yeah,
myself? I mean, I get it, the ticket was cheaper, but flying back from like a weekend of partying and
hmm,
you leave in the morning,
yeah,
when you arrive home, it's like you've never seen sleep in your life.
yeah.
Like you feel so your body just, oh wow. It was, yeah.
Those
I
flights
did
after
days.
we've been hanging out with friends coming back home, those are the
Yeah.
worst. I sleep through all of them, and they usually early in the morning. To my friends, I'm like, guys, you better be ready to take me back to the
To the
airport because
airport.
what we do is like we all fly in and then we get a rental. So we all fly from different
Mhm.
states. So we meet up in this one place. We get a rental car, and then everybody, whoever leaves late, the latest, will
Is one who
take
takes the
take
car
back the
back.
rental. Yeah, let's take everybody to the airport and then go. And yeah, it's always fun. Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to catch up with that, and I'll make sure I put this vlog into this episode so people can follow with the conversation. I just want to touch
Yeah.
base with that. It's interesting, and I'm sure like a lot of people would find it interesting to just know what life happens in Germany outside these countries.
Yeah.
So I don't think we'll be able to do that other um, topic I was gonna work on because like I said in the morning, I was just switching my brain. I was like, this would be interesting. I like that. I like this whole part because I felt
Yeah.
more of that. But yeah, you promised to bring Eddie Kenzo on the podcast.
I did say, but oh my goodness, has he not become even more
That
busy
guy is busy.
than before? Yeah.
Like,
His I I don't even know when he will have a window
yeah,
realistically, because shortly after we did that interview is when the whole Grammy thing happened.
right.
So he traveled shortly after that. And then now this time when I came, he had his usual shows. Now he is the new president of
Hmm.
the Uganda Music Federation. I think
Yeah,
that's what it's
yeah.
called.
Uganda Musician Federation. What do you think
Yeah.
about that? I wanna know your take about it.
Well, I, interestingly enough, I've been there from the jump when it comes to that whole topic. Many, many years ago, they had their very first artist meeting. By then, Bobby Wine was just getting into politics. Radio May his soul rest in peace was still alive. We met at what's that place behind Nakumat, Oasis Mall. There's some kaba there where Laughters, I think Laughters, yeah. That's where the very first meeting was. A lot of artists came together, and that's where they kind of found out that there is a copyright law, but there's a separate organization that cashes in that money. So yeah, it was a very, I think they even the TV stations were there as well, and they did a couple of interviews. It got very emotional, like especially radio got very. I have like a Snapchat video of him where he was very passionate about it. He was telling us how, he's like this is the work that they do, and they're just fighting for their cause basically.
Right.
And I think from that then is when slowly UMA was created, Ugandan Music Association. And then I think they had a few misunderstandings here and there in terms of the charge, like who's in charge of UMA and the voting for that. But how I understood the federation, it doesn't take away UMA. UMA is still there, but it's like it's a federation, so it kind of has all of that still inside of it. Their main thing right now is the copyright thing. And I think it definitely, as a musician who has seen how the music industry is in different parts of the world and compared to Uganda, I do think it's something that is high time that, it's discussed and they find a fair middle ground for it. Because really and truly, I mean, every person that works, it wouldn't be fair for you to put in so much work. I mean, artists pay for their studio times, for their mix and master. Like there's so many things behind the scene that the day-to-day consumer doesn't really get to see that the artist puts in. So I do think that copyright is the bare minimum that an artist does deserve to have. But in Uganda, the truth is artists actually just make money when they step on the stage. Like that's their main income. And that's something that's just not realistic, and it's challenging. It doesn't allow them also to really unfold their talent and put in that much time and effort in their craft. And then consumers are complaining and saying Uganda music is not doing so great because it's not so great. But then there's a lot. So I just hope that this federation kind of does their part and tackles the copyright issue, and then after that we'll see what comes next. But yeah, I think it would be nice maybe for the consumer to also try to have an open mind and just see how that goes, and tries to maybe understand some of the challenges that they also have. And at the same time, also the government and whoever that other organization is that were cashing in the copyright money and things like that. So I think transparency and fairness is what I'm hoping from everything.
Yeah, I'm glad I got actually an explanation about it, because for me, I was thinking that the federation took away the UMA, so I was confused about it. And like you've explained it, like it's been up and down all the time. They're changing the leaders from this person to this person to this person. So I was like, now there's a new thing, and now there's a new thing. So it's just seemed unstable. It just seemed like, is there going to be a new thing the next month, or like people are going to change their minds? But if it's like that, like the way you've explained
that's how it was explained. Of course, now for me, because obviously Eddie is like family to me, so of course our conversation is on a different level than maybe conversations he might have with someone else that's interviewing him or whatever. But as far as I know, it doesn't take away from that, because even the people who are part of UMA are also part of the federation. So
that's true.
It wouldn't make sense if that was supposed to take that away, because the people are still, so. And then also majority of the industry, I say lightly, gets along with Eddie. So I think, that also helps a lot if it's someone that's gets along with a lot of people, and So yeah, hopefully we'll see. Like I said, the important thing is transparency and fairness. If they can do that for their fellow artists and for the consumer, then I think that would be great.
The part I like the most that you talked about is like artists earning from what they do, because we all
Yeah,
work to get money. And like when you
exactly.
work, you put in like 100% and then you get paid 2%. It's not worth it. You know, like if
Exactly.
an artist is putting in the effort, they should get paid. And if that's
Yeah.
what the federation is there for, I'm all in for it. Like that's the part I didn't know, because me being in the diaspora and just looking in the news, everybody's
Yeah.
putting in their different takes and like
Of
listening from
course.
this person, listening to this person. So like you don't know what to pick. But
Yeah.
truthfully, if it's like that, and actually I tapped into a Maltese presentation at one of their meetings, the
Mm,
comedian, and he was talking pretty good. Like he's like, if people like if the Nigerians are coming to Uganda and you close the roads, but like Amati is gonna have a show and the roads are not closed or something like that. Like he was
yeah.
fighting for equality of the same thing. Like we
Yeah.
have these big artists coming in Uganda, and then they treated special and they get,
Very, yeah.
you know, like the roads are closed for them, things are,
Mhm.
you know, like that's the same thing they should do for like these Ugandan artists
They're
and this.
local artists,
Yeah.
yeah. And it just gives the person out there that wants to get into music, it gives them more hope to, go for a career path like that. There's a lot of older people in the federation who have stopped doing music for years. But even for them to know that, okay, our music can still like this is a longevity thing. I'm going to be able to maybe pass on my portfolio to my kids and they can still earn from the music I made, and that's how it works in most parts of the world. That's
Right.
how musicians make their money. They still earn from, the copyright because that's their right, it should be. So yeah, and I think especially now someone like Eddie, I'm not sure, but I think from the artists that we have in Uganda, he has traveled the most into different countries to perform, like as a musician, not like just to do holiday in different countries, but as a musician, I think he's been booked to different countries the most out of all of them. And whenever you travel, your mind is expanded. You get to meet different people. You talk to fellow musicians, like the Afro Nations that he goes to, there's Burna Boy, the Wizkids, the David, like all of these artists are there and you get to mingle with them and you get to know how the music business works in their
All
countries.
right.
And I think, yeah, just to get Uganda up to speed and also catch up, because the talent is there. That is undeniable.
Yeah. And I think now I get a better understanding of it. Actually, I commented something on my Instagram and we're having a chit chat with Unconsim. No, not chit. I wouldn't call it a chit chat because I posted on my podcast page about the federation and like,
Yeah.
because I was using the knowledge I get from media, you know, like with a little
Mm-hmm.
knowledge, not the full knowledge about it. And I try to tell people about that. And that's a life lesson for me. Like sometimes don't talk about something after you get the whole knowledge about
Yeah.
it, because sometimes you might have the wrong information of that. So that's when
Yeah.
I posted and I did. And then Anne Kansime, because she follows my podcast and she commented down there. And then I explained to her what my take was.
Yeah.
I mean, we never went back and forth. Like she just said, and then I said back what I thought. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
good to have like clear information about something. Plus, I'm not the kind of person who is gonna go on the internet and start fighting against people. If somebody has like a different take from mine,
Yeah.
I'll listen to what they gotta say. I say what I gotta say, but I'm not gonna
Yeah.
go fight because I want to be.
Oh,
I gotta
sometimes you
see
just
me, you know.
agree to disagree.
Right.
And
So
that's just it. Yeah.
but yeah, I'm glad we could talk about music a little bit. Are you gonna do any new music yet, or is first finishing school?
Yeah, I definitely want to. I'm working on an EP. I've been working on this EP for so long. And I feel like the longer I take, the more ideas I get, the more I want to change songs and do new songs and take off songs and do other features. And I think every musician knows that
Yeah.
struggle kind of. But yeah, definitely. I still want to have that EP out before I graduate, because I feel like that EP is going to be my actual starting point. I know people already say like I do music and I'm a musician, but
Hmm.
I don't see it as that until I have that body of work out. And after that is out, I just want to see how the audience responds to it, which songs, they like, which kind of music they enjoy the most, which music I enjoy the most making, the creative process behind it. And yeah, I think after I graduate, I'll then fully have time to give it my all.
You just gotta know we already enjoy the ones you have out there, so we can't wait for the new ones coming.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
so I like the music you got out there, so we just can't wait to have everything. But once again, I want to, like I said, I told you the first time I had you on the podcast, like I would talk to you like for hours because you're the kind of person like who, like articulate, like has like hold a conversation and like build off this conversation, build off this, build off that.
Yeah.
I like that. I like to have conversations with people and like getting to know more about people, laugh and bring these conversations to the people, to the listeners, and also
Mm,
other people. Like there's a lot of people who are not Ugandans that tap into the podcast, so maybe they'll get to learn a thing or two about our country, and
yeah,
that's what we do out there. So,
true. I love that.
but yeah, thanks for making this time. I know it's always crazy trying to schedule like a perfect time. I know we've scheduled a few, and Uganda's like, oh, that won't work, oh, this won't work, and
Yeah.
but finally we got to make it work.
Thank you for having me again. I always enjoy talking, catching up.
All right. Yeah. Enjoy Germany. Enjoy the sun. It's going to go in a few months. So just enjoy while it lasts.
I know summer's short-lived,
Yeah.
but I will. I'll have to enjoy every single moment.
Yeah. All right. I'll let you go. And thanks for your time. So,
All right. Thank you too.
all
Have a
right.
good evening. Oh,
You,
day.
yeah. Actually, it's 2. It's coming 3 here. Like it's
Okay.
2:57. So, yeah, it's still day. Still day here. Have a good night over there.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, Melissa.
All right. Bye.
Hey there, this is Bonnie Kibuka, the host of the Ugandan Boy Talk Show. Thanks for watching and listening to my podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you share it with a friend and recommend somebody to this podcast. Don't forget to leave a feedback on this podcast because that's how we grow. And also don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. Join us on our social media platforms on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. So we'd love to hear from you. Thank you very much and be blessed.